All right, let's jump right in. We're going to break down the wisdom of a true investing legend, Peter Lynch. And what's great about him is he wasn't writing for the Wall Street experts. His whole goal was to take this thing that feels so complicated and, kind of scary and make it simple and powerful for everybody else.
This is the big fear that holds so many people back, right? This idea that investing is just a fancy casino, a high-stakes guessing game where the house always wins. It feels like you're just rolling the dice with your hard-earned cash. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? This right here, this single idea from Lynch, is the most important mindset shift you can possibly make. It's the foundation for everything else. You're not betting on some random outcome. You are literally becoming a part owner of a company. And that changes everything, because now you need to start thinking like an owner. So this is the first pillar of his philosophy, and it's all about changing your perspective. It's about moving away from being a speculator, someone who just bets on the squiggly lines on a chart, and becoming a real partner in a business's future.
And Lynch makes this brilliant point that the stock market isn't some newfangled invention for day trading. It's just the modern version of an engine that's been funding human progress for centuries. I mean, from the joint stock companies that funded voyages to the New World to the phone that's in your pocket right now, this system of shared ownership is what has always fueled growth and created incredible wealth.
Let's break this down to the simplest possible level. Imagine the lemonade stand on your street corner went public. You buy one share. Now, if that stand starts doing so well that it opens another one on the next block and then another one downtown, the whole business is now worth way more. And as a part owner, your little share grows in value right along with it. At its core, that's all it is. It's that simple.
Okay, so if we're buying little pieces of businesses, the next big question is, which ones are worth buying? Well, Lynch has a really clear answer for this. You need to focus on things that actually create value.
Now, what I love about this is the contrast. On one side, you have a company. It's a living, breathing thing. It innovates, it earns profits, it expands. On the other side, you've got something like, gold. A bar of gold today is going to be the exact same bar of gold 100 years from now. It doesn't do anything. Its value only goes up if someone else is willing to pay more for it later. A good company, though, creates new value all by itself. And this chart just shows you the result of that difference. The proof is in the pudding. When you invest in a whole collection of these productive businesses like the S&P 500, you're plugging into that engine of collective growth. And the data's crystal clear. Over the long haul, owning businesses has been a far, far better bet than owning an asset that just sits there.
So that brings us to the third big idea. And honestly, this is where a lot of people trip up. They hear that famous advice, invest in what you know, and they think, great, I'm done. But for Peter Lynch, that's just the starting bell. That's when you start doing a little detective work. This is such a critical point. Loving a product, whether it's your new phone or your favorite coffee, is a fantastic starting point. It's a clue, but it is absolutely not, by itself, a reason to invest your money. That's when the real work, and I think the real fun, actually begins. And look, this homework doesn't have to be some terrifying, complex thing. Lynch breaks it down into a really manageable checklist. You gotta understand the company's story, take a quick peek at its financial health, figure out what its secret sauce is, its competitive edge, and even see if the people running the show are buying their own stock. Let's just touch on a couple of these real quick. First up is the story. I love this one. It's the ultimate simplicity test. If you can't explain what a company does and how it makes money to a friend in like 30 seconds, how can you possibly have any confidence in its future? If it's all wrapped up in confusing jargon, Lynch's advice is pure gold. Just move on. There are literally thousands of other companies to look at.
Okay, next, the financials. Don't let your eyes glaze over. You don't need to be an accountant. You just need to ask some common sense questions. Take the PE ratio. All that really helps you answer is the price I'm paying fair compared to how much money it's making? Or you want to know, is this company drowning in debt? And does it have a history of actually being profitable? These numbers are just tools to answer those really basic questions.
And that leads to the competitive edge. A great product is one thing, but what's stopping a rival from just copying it tomorrow and selling it for cheaper? This protective barrier is what people call a moat. It could be a super powerful brand that everyone trusts, like Coca-Cola, or some unique technology. It's that special something that lets a company stay on top for the long run. All right, this brings us to what I think is the most empowering part of Peter Lynch's entire philosophy. He argues that you, the everyday person, are not at a disadvantage. You're not playing catch-up with the pros on Wall Street. In fact, you have a secret weapon.
This is it. This is the whole ballgame. Your daily life, as a customer, an employee, a parent, is the most powerful source of information you have. The new trends, the hot products, the great services, you often spot them in the real world long before they ever show up on some Wall Street analyst spreadsheet.
And these personal research labs are everywhere. It's noticing that one coffee shop that always has a line out the door. It's realizing that every single person you know is suddenly downloading the same app. It's seeing a new store popping up in every single mall you go to. These aren't just random little observations. They are powerful economic clues.
And that really just democratizes this whole thing, doesn't it? Lynch's message is that your real-world observations, combined with just a little bit of that homework we talked about, are more than enough. Expertise doesn't come from a fancy degree. It comes from paying attention. So I'll just leave you with this one question. As you go about your week, start looking at the world through this new lens. Pay attention to the brands you buy, the services you use, the places you go. What potential investment ideas are hiding in plain sight, right in front of you, just waiting